All right, good morning. Thanks so much for joining the Landid Webinar Series. Today we'll be talking about time saving, how we can help put time back in your diary, back in your day, streamline some processes. So today we'll be focusing on the top 3 ways to save 8 to 10 hours per project. And we're going to be doing that through AI-powered site capture. It's about digitizing your site visits, harnessing that digital information for downstream workflows as you progress with your projects, whether you're trying to secure them, plan them, cost them, or deliver them. So the next 30 minutes, we'll cover a few things. I'll give you a quick intro to me. We'll touch on the broader market context of why AI now, for the built environment, for this use case of site capture. We'll give a brief overview for Landid, just in case there's anyone joining that's not so familiar with us. Then we'll get into the meat of it. We'll start talking about the top time savers for AI site capture, and we'll touch on some Q&A at the end as well. Always some time for that. So let's jump into it. So a little bit about me. Who you talking to today? Who are you hearing from? So yeah, my name's Alex. I'm head of products here at Landid, and my heritage is in digital consulting. Many years in that space, redesigning businesses, redesigning employee workflows, employee experiences, injecting technology, particularly mobile technology, into that, and AI in more recent times, of course. As well as the last 3 years really working in the residential real estate space on the project management side of things, being involved in around 30 renovations in that time. So good to be with you, and thanks for your time. So why AI site capture? Why is it important to start harnessing this technology to change the way we work, to abstract away from those long manual in-person processes that we have accepted as a normal part of doing our job? Let's discuss it. So any renovation, any property is unique, and invariably delivering projects in that environment is going to be slow. It's going to be painful. There's going to be ups and downs, errors, missteps, rework involved. So anything we can do to really streamline that, to increase the pace, to remove some of that pain, to avoid some of those errors, that's really what we're trying to achieve here with AI site capture and Landid more generally. And of course, the context is that we're all busy. This probably looks like your phone screen, the amount of calls and emails and messages you've got just from today. And when you layer in all of your projects on top of each other, we've all got a hair on fire. So again, being able to do things efficiently, abstract away from the things that you don't need to do, allow the system to do it for you, that's going to be a massive win. So what we want to do is just take a bit of time just to better understand what the people in the session today, the live session today, are feeling around that cost of their time. So if you can jump on menti.com, join me on this, we'll go through a couple of questions. And that'll just really give me a sense for who we have in the room, what pain you're feeling today, and I can keep that in mind as we progress through the top 3 tips. So first of all, which activity feels like it's costing you time? Which are those activities that you're doing project in, project out? Could be daily, weekly, but it's the things that just feel like they're taking time away from you. They're getting in the way. You wish, they're the things you just wish somebody could do for you, or a system could just do it for me. What are those things? Is it the physical site visits? Is it the measure ups? Is it the missed calculation, missed measurements, missed detail that forces you to go and do another revisit, and the scheduling around that getting access to that property again? Is it sharing and communicating and briefing out to project collaborators? What are those hot topics for you where you just feel like you're losing time? Cool. So we'll just get those results in, and I'll refer to those as we go. The next one is, which parts of your project processes are you already harnessing AI to do today? So we're not talking about the upfront sales piece. We're really talking about when you've got that project moving through your business, where you are mobilizing it, planning it, delivering it. Are you using AI at all in that any step of that process? That's what we'd really like to understand. Okay, so go ahead and add your responses there. It's just a free text input. Okay, very good. Thanks for those. Okay, keep those coming in as we progress. So why now? Well, AI is everywhere. You're probably hearing it more and more in various different contexts. We're seeing it pop up with use cases for consumers and shopping now, with the integrations with Shopify. But really, where it's going to move the needle most, in the immediate to medium term at least, is in how we work. So the technology has absolutely come to a level of maturity where we can get value from it, and we can direct it at certain tasks, and we can actually direct it at multi-step tasks, where effectively get some agentic behavior, rather than just individual point solution or co-piloting. Of course, it started with generate this blog post for me, or write this email for me, those type of things. That still has its place, of course, but it can do so much more. The second piece is the devices. We all have these supercomputers in our pocket now. So when we're out in the field, on the go, working from anywhere, we've got the devices that have the processing power to make use of those smart technologies. The third piece is because we're becoming more and more aware of the technology and where it's up to. There's this heightened expectation, and you might have seen it already with your clients, where they expect things to be faster than what they used to be. They're not willing to wait 2 days for something to be turned around. They want it immediately, and we also bring those expectations into our work, where we have that consumerization of work, and we expect things that are nice and easy, and quick to do in our personal lives. It should all be the same in our working lives, and we don't want to be dragged through laborious processes at work, as we don't expect or are happy to be in our personal lives. So Landid, just as I said, a quick intro for those that are less familiar with us. So effectively what we do is we're harnessing AI, and we're doing that for professionals that are working in the property space. So whether you're managing properties, whether you're designing properties, whether you're building properties, whether you're working in them in a specialist trade, Landid is for you. And it's really about digitizing properties, harnessing, capturing and harnessing that information. And it's about doing it quickly, it's about doing it cheaply, and it's about doing it with the devices that you already have. So really differentiating from others in the market, where it takes a long time to capture properties, it's expensive to capture properties, and you need specialist hardware. With Landid, it's none of those things. And the other call out I want to make before we jump into the heart of the session is that the Landid platform is created by two parts. There's two key pieces for it. There's a mobile application, Landid Pro, works on your phone. There's the Landid portal, which you access through the browser on your desktop, on your laptop. So Landid Pro, the mobile app, it's all about when you're out on the go, on site. It's about capturing all of that site information. Is about mapping, measuring, documentation, digitally, accurately, quickly, doing it for you, all through the mobile app. When you upload all of that information, that property information and that project information, that's where you then pull it back up at your desk through the browser using the portal, and that's where you start to harness and make use of all of that information and that documentation to expedite, automate, streamline processes throughout your project end to end. Cool. So with that context of AI rising, applying it to our space in the built environment, applying it to our workflows and our project flows, and doing that within a mobile form factor, on the go, on site, and then a desktop form factor in your office, in your studio, getting other work done related to your project. That's the context in which we want to start to tease out these top three ways. Top three ways to save a lot of time. And what we're really aiming for here is around that 8 to 10 hour mark per project, with the bulk of that being banked upfront at those early stages of a project. Cool. So first up, measure ups. Most projects, most people on this call, most professionals that manage, design, or build or maintain or renovate properties need to step onto site for the first time and capture information to complete a site survey. And a core part of that, of course, is to get the layout, get the measurements, capture all of that. And today, most typical is that that's a manual process that might take you 2+ hours to complete, depending on what's in scope for you, the nature of your work, the nature of that asset. And it is typically pen and paper, tape measure, laser measure, methodically moving through a space, capturing all of that information. It's laborious. It's taking a good chunk of your time or your team members' time or a third party contractor's operator's time, and that time can be won back through harnessing AI to do that measure up for you. So what we've been able to achieve with Landid and the Landid Pro app is that it feels like you're walking through the property, capturing a video, holding your phone out in front of you, walking through. What we're doing is giving the system the opportunity to see and interpret and understand that space, identify walls, the floor, the ceiling, the windows, the furniture items, bulkheads, all of that, and be mapping that and to be measuring that for you, comprehensively measuring everything. And what's great about the solution we have at this point is that it is doing that in real time and it's presenting it back to you. So as you move through the space, you get those opportunities to sense check. Okay, what has the system found? What is it mapped? What is it measured? How accurate is that? Do I need to go back and redo that? Have I missed a space that I need to add to this property so I have a complete view? You get that ability to make sure that this is a once and done operation, that this initial site visit is going to allow you to capture everything that you do need, so then you don't have to revisit again unnecessarily. And once you've uploaded all of that information, all those models, and you're in the portal, you're at your desk, you load that up, and then you can open those models. And immediately, what we're trying to give you is information that you might otherwise have to calculate yourself, but might also, but therefore give you immediate uplift in what you're doing with your project. So here I'm talking about summary metrics. So these are overall metrics that relate to this property, this apartment that's been captured. And what we can see is we've got a total wall perimeter. So we've gone through and understood all the different spaces and calculated all of that out and said, okay, there's about 42 to 43 linear meters of wall perimeter here. So if you're interested in cornices, if you're interested in skirting boards, immediately you've got the answer that you needed. Wall area, same deal. So every wall section, minusing away or netting away all the openings, the windows, the doors, openings, etc. What's that total wall area that you're left with? If you're wanting to calculate, how much paint I need, how much wall tiling I need, how much plasterboard I'm going to need, you've immediately got a very quick answer to that question. Same with the floors, all calculated. So top right corner, you can see here what I'm suggesting is that both the time that you've saved on site doing the capture, plus the time that you've saved with doing some of those kind of common summary metrics or calculations, you've probably already banked yourself an hour of time saving just from doing that, nothing more. The next thing that I want to highlight here is that you can actually explore that model. You can click on different elements like the floor here and grab the specifics of that floor. Pick a wall, pick a window, pick a door, pick a joinery item. Go and grab the measurements of that as well. But then you can also drop yourself into the space and get other custom measurements. So here, we can grab the sill height. So you didn't have to spend time on site methodically measuring the sill height of every window. It's just automatically captured for you. So again, being able to expedite all of that you've probably saved another hour of the nitty-gritty of the manual measure up, where you're getting all those different measurements, the spacing, the positioning of these windows relative to other elements in the space. So yeah, you're probably now up to about 2 hours of time that you've clawed back just from this one site visit. Cool. So there's one thing to capture the call it the bones of that site, the layouts, the key features, and all the dimensions and measurements of those things. But what would be better is to extend that and to document that site and all of the rich visual information. Today, you might be doing that with handwritten notes, or you might be doing it with a whole stack of photos that are on your camera roll, and at some point you need to upload those somewhere. You need to organize them, name them, so that you can kind of find the right photo later. And you might have dozens, hundreds of photos. You might be doing that. So what we're talking about here is, how do we document the site beyond mapping and measuring it, using AI to capture all of that rich information and make it available to you on demand. So again, with the mobile app, the Landid Pro app, you'll be documenting, capturing all of that information. Again, just feeling like you're walking through the space, taking a video, and have that model presented to you, like this corner of this room, visually, so you can see what you've got, and know that you've got what you need before you leave site or move on to another space. And we make sure you organize it. So these detail scans are located within that 3D model that we looked at before, so that you could call those up on demand in a logical way. So here we can see we've got 5 of these detail scans embedded in this model of this property, and you can bring those up, find them easily, and then go in and drop yourself into them. But what does it mean to have those models? What does it mean to drop yourself back in? Well, what it suggests to you is that it's actually allowing you to complete a virtual inspection of that property. So here we're dropping ourselves into this open plan area. We have to position ourselves in that space, pan around, move, and look at what we want to look at, and really get that context back of that existing space. And there's one thing to do that and get that context, and you obviously already kind of saved your travel time at that point. So here we're saying we've now moved up to about 5 hours of time saved, because you haven't had to schedule another site revisit to get that detail or refresh your memory on something. You haven't spent time going through all those site photos and trying to find the right one, the right angle, the right detail. You haven't had to travel to site and spend that time again on site. It's all been banked for you, and if you're going to be taking a team member along, or a project collaborator along, or they're going to do their own visit, again, you've banked a lot of time saving. So we're almost halfway there already in terms of that total time saving for the project. Other cool things you can do in here, of course, is that you want to see the rich detail. You want to see the materiality. You want to see the fixtures, the fittings, the furnishings, and so on. So here we've clicked in that kitchen area near the island, and we're pulling up the details of that kitchen island bench, the seating, the bench top, the cabinet items, the floor. You can pull up those photos without needing to go through a folder of them. You just point and shoot and grab what you want. It's all automatically captured for you, and you can find the best photo for what you're trying to look at that moment. Again, that's probably saved you another hour, because you haven't had to invest that time to go and organize and upload and name and store all of those photos. It's all just there for you, taken automatically, and surfaced on demand. Other thing is, within these models, is you can also take measurements. There's certain things that you'll be able to measure, like the sill height, for example, that I had earlier in the grayscale 3D model. But in the detail model, there'll be some things that you just won't be present there. The width of the timber flooring boards, a carpet or a rug. It could be a light fixture. How far does that hang down? It could be the cornice profile or the skirting board profile, what exactly was that, and what size is it? Those type of questions can be answered through this. And it also extends to the exteriors. So you can see here we've grabbed not just internal spaces, but we've detail scanned, balconies, staircases, decking, balustrades, awnings, really, the window set, really rich information there. So not just interiors, but also those adjacent exteriors. And you can actually flex it to take you onto the external site capture as well. So here we can see the landscaped areas, again, where you're able to take measurements, see detailed photos, move yourself through that space as you would do for the internal space. Cool. So with the first two, we've got you to about 6 hours of time reclaimed. With top tip number 3, we're now wanting to talk about how we're applying AI to the workflows that come off the back of your site visits. So everything we did at this point was around in-site visit. What about post-site visit? So there's a couple of things. One is, to be clear that this is best done on the portal, not in the mobile app. You can pull up the models in the mobile app, but really where you're going to get the bang for your buck and the real value from all of that rich information is getting into the web application, using it on the larger form factor device, being able to make use of that and be using that alongside your other systems and tools and processes that you'd be performing on that bit larger device. So one thing is that we can automatically generate a floor plan for you. We've got those 3D models, click to generate, and it will produce a first version of that floor plan for you. That 2D form factor is very familiar, very useful for many folks. Once you've generated it, you're now in an editor and you can take control of that floor plan. You can change elements like this door. You can change the door type, the positioning, the swing direction, all of those elements. You can do the same for windows, other elements. Equally, you can modify the walls. For whatever reason, you may want to adjust the positioning of a wall. Maybe the digital scan has sort of interpreted the space slightly differently to what you observed on site. You can go in there and take control and make it absolutely perfect, exactly as you want it to represent what's built. And you can export it. So the intent here is that you're not locked into the Landid portal. You want to take that floor plan and use it elsewhere. So we allow for, once that's finalized, you can export it and make use of it where you need it, where you want to use it. The next one is around estimation. So it's one thing to document the site, but you also want to do something then with it. You want to start planning, costing works, for instance. And here I'm going to focus on painting, which is kind of a core scope item for many projects. No renovation or build would be complete without a beautiful professional lick of paint to really make that design and that home, that space really pop. So what we're talking about here is the ability to create an estimate where a lot of that heavy lifting, all that calculation is done for you. So we've mapped the space, we've measured it, we know what's there, and we can calculate all those areas that you would need to figure this out. It's a 3-step process. First step is to select what's in scope. By default, we capture everything within that 3D model, but you can go ahead and focus on a subset of that. So here we're going to look at this large open space. We're going to go ahead and select the walls of that space. That also means the system can calculate the ceilings that are going to be in scope here. We save and move on. And then you've got a choice to do a simple estimate or an advanced. Simple, you can control a subset of variables, whether it's a repaint or another type of project, whether you want to change the margin on this job, whether you want to change the process or the application method, so forth. When you move into advanced, you get full control. So everything under the hood is opened up to you. You can control turn on and off the surfaces that will be factored in, change their nature if you wish to, change your input costs. Again, save, export, keep that within the project on Landid in the portal, but also be able to take that away and use it elsewhere in your process, other systems. Okay, cool. And last one to point out here is project sharing. So it's one thing to document the site and have it for your use, but most projects are going to involve more people than just yourself, right? So the ability to share access, controlled access to that information, that site information, is going to be really powerful and unlock a lot of time saving for other people that you're relying on, and potentially compress your time frame. You can imagine if you're subcontracting out certain pieces of the work, you don't want to have to wait for those subcontractors to complete their own site visits and do their own measurements and do their own calculations and their own estimates. Why not give them access to all the information you've already captured, save them that time, get them coming back to you much sooner. So project sharing with some of those other AI-driven processes now, I think easily kind of gets you up to that target of 10 hours of time saving. Cool. So in summary, Landid is all about harnessing AI to save you valuable time on every single project. And I think what we've seen is, harnessing a couple of the different features and in different contexts of your project, and that early stage, you're able to bank 8 to 10 hours, very, very easily. And that's really been drawn across, the site measure. It's been drawn across site photos, capture and management. It's about generating those existing floor plans for you and allowing you to quickly tweak those to make them exactly how you want them. The ability to complete virtual inspections or re-inspections, saving all of that travel time for you and for your collaborators. All have a single source of truth of information, of course. And those project estimates, so being able to do those and get a cost out, or at least have that as a ballpark to sense check what comes through from other parties. So from there, we'll move into QA and really thank you for your time. It really encourage you to try Landid. It's often the best way to assess its suitability for your business and your projects and your process is to give it a go. Suggest that you can scan this code, get a hold of the app, start capturing your space. Make sure you go all the way through, capture a 3D model, capture a detail model, get that all the way through, upload your project, and then go and view and review that project and see all those floor planning tools and so forth off the back of that data capture, see what it can do for you, and I'd love to hear your feedback as you do so. Other thing to call out is that we've got a challenge this month. We're turning October into Doctober. It's all about site documentation. So we would really want to encourage you and others to scan your spaces, to add details, to generate floor plans, and to share projects, where every one of those actions is not only going to save you time, but we're going to translate that time saving into a point system, and that's going to allow you to climb up leaderboards and get access to some really cool prizes. So the idea here is that we're going to award an overall winner, the most active in site documentation this month. We're going to have category winners for those sort of target activities that are going to really add value to you, save your time, and digitize your process. And we're going to have some lucky draws throughout the month as well, just to keep things exciting. And how do you play? Well, like I said, we want you to go and capture a site that's going to bank you an hour, make you earn you a point in our point system for Doctober. We want to do those detail scans to document the site, save another hour, avoid another site visit, get some more points there, generate the floor plan, again, save your time manually drawing that out for yourself, and project sharing. So really paying it forward to the other people in your project network, people that are going to get value. So 1 hour for them, 1 hour for you, 2 points total. Keep accumulating those points. The more you do, the more sites you capture. The more likely you are to be one of our category or even the overall winner. So really encourage you to do that. Thanks for joining today. And you're really excited to hear how you get on with Landid. And we're always here to support. So please reach out, by email or phone. And if there's anything we can do to help you get started, or to dig in to the specifics of your business and your process flow, and how AI can really help you there, would love to have a separate conversation with you and how we can support. So thanks again. I'm Alex from Landid, and here's to you better projects. Thank you.